The foreign minister of Qatar is in Washington seeking ways to resolve an ongoing diplomatic crisis. He met with the U.S. Secretary of State to discuss the Saudi-led blockade of Qatar. Speaking after the talks, the Qatari diplomat said the list of demands put forward by Saudi Arabia and its allies is unacceptable. Earlier, Rex Tillerson called for dialogue and said the demands will be difficult to meet. The situation has also raised concerns in Europe, as Peter Oliver reports.
The diplomatic snafu that's taking place in the Arabian Gulf spreading over to Europe in some senses. We had heard from Sigmar Gabriel, the German foreign minister, saying that he felt that some of the demands being made from the Saudi-led group that includes Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Egypt, that been placed on Qatar, that they were far too harsh. Now, he's been discussing this and other issues with the Iranian foreign minister. Mr. Gabriel had said that some of the points that had been put forward by the Saudi-backed side were negotiable. However, some of them went too far. Now, what was included in this list of demands were things like the closure of an airbase, of Turkish airbase that was located in Qatar. Also, the shutting down of the Al Jazeera news network and all of its affiliates. Mr. Gabriel saying that in the eyes of his government, well, this just goes too far.
You have seen the list of 13 points. Some of them, of course, are able to negotiate. Some others would be a challenge to the national sovereignty of Qatar. Today, the list is more or less a very provocative list. It's difficult for Qatar to answer.
It has been suggested that the whole idea of this blockade backed by Saudi Arabia was to try and isolate Iran in the region, but also bring Qatar under control, bring it to heel. Well, what it seems to have done is that it's, well, brought Qatar and Iran together. And it's also seen, from what we've just heard from the German foreign minister there, it's involved Europe or European nations on the side of Qatar against these demands that have been placed.